Today's guest is Rachel Irabor. She's a Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM developer. She's a Power Platform advocate. She's the host of a Girl in Love with Tech podcast. And she posts a lot of other YouTube content you should check out on a variety of Microsoft topics with a focus on Power Platform. Thank you for joining me today, Rachel.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeremy. And thank you so much for this opportunity to speak on your podcast. Yeah.
So for those who haven't met you, talk a bit about your background. Where are you from, who you are, and what you do?
Okay, my name is Rachel Irabor, like you already introduced me. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a Power Platform developer, a Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM developer, a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, and also a Power Platform advocate. I'm so much in love with community that if you search about me online, everything you're going to see about me is about community, because community has been a very big part of my growth. So I'm into community a lot. I do a lot of things in community. I recently graduated from the University of Benin, where I studied industrial mathematics.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So what made you choose that as your topic of study?
Okay, it wasn't what I chose. I did not choose to study industrial mathematics. I actually was trying to study engineering, but the school I applied for, they gave me industrial mathematics. Yeah.
That's actually a little unusual for those of us who live in the United States, where we can negotiate that a little more. So the school decides somewhat based on your application, which program you'll be in?
I don't really know the reasons they do those kind of things, because I had a classmate then that she actually applied for medicine. She applied for medicine, like to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And she was given industrial mathematics. Yeah.
Huh. So then how did you get from that to technology?
It was amazing, because I did not really know about tech. Like, I did not know that there were careers in tech. I only knew about, okay, they had companies like Microsoft, they had laptops. I did not really know how those things were being built. I just know that I was interested in them. And the careers I only knew then existed were things like medicine, lecturers, teachers, you have your engineers. So those were the things I knew about. And that is why I actually wanted to go for engineering, because I love building. I love building. And I was given industrial mathematics, which is another story. But I got to know about tech through attending a Power Platform bootcamp, a Microsoft Power Platform bootcamp in my state that was organized by a cloud advocate. Okay. And he talked about Power Platform, gave us assignments. I was able to build apps. I was able to build build flows, also create chatbots. It was amazing to me. Like, okay, I can do this. Wow, this is amazing. And before I attended the bootcamp, I actually learned, I heard about programming languages, like coding, Python, Java, and so many other things. And I was hearing so many stories on programming that you have to know how to code in order to come into tech. I was hearing so many careers in tech that I had to learn how to code. I had to know programming languages. I need to be very good in maths in order to learn programming languages. So when I saw Microsoft Power Platform was like, wow. So I'm building all of this. And I'm not coding. So it was what really, really brought me into tech. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is something unique about the Power Platform. And I'm a software engineer, right? I know coding. I learned coding, but I love the Power Platform, not because I don't code, but because I don't have to code to build a solution, right? Which it makes it even easier for others to support it, to add additional functionality. Have you found that as you've used the Power Platform, you have learned some coding as you've kind of created your solutions?
Yeah, I recently got to, let me say, before I was building solutions, building flows without coding. But now I'm actually learning how to code, because there are some areas in Power Platform that you have to learn how to code. Like model-driven app, you have to know JavaScript, HTML, CSS, especially on portals. So those things, and I'm planning to learn so many other programming languages. But Power Platform was like a big step for me to come into tech. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and doing it in Dynamics, which is the high end, right?
Yeah.
The biggest piece of it with the Dataverse and with all of its capabilities.
Yeah.
Have you had to create solutions without Dynamics? And what's your experience if you have, what's that experience different?
Yeah, it's actually not too different because I'm actually getting used to using model-driven apps. So there's actually not so much big of a difference between your model-driven app and your Dynamics because they are all built on Dataverse, Microsoft Dataverse. So it's actually a big bonus when you know Microsoft Power Platform, like when you are used to Dataverse. It's an easy transition to Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM. There's something I always believe in is that I see a lot of people that they are Microsoft Power Platform developers, but they don't make use of Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM.
Mm-hmm.
But people who are Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM, they make use of Power Platform. So when you're trying to transition from Microsoft Power Platform to Dynamics, it's very, very easy because of the shared knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't always used to be that way, but Microsoft has made significant improvements, if you will, in Dynamics, and it's come a long
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So you're living in Malta. You're originally from Nigeria. How
Yes.
did you go about finding that job that took you to Malta?
Okay, it was through learning online. I was actually listening to a space this evening where they talked about sharing your journey online. So it was me sharing my learning journey. Maybe today I read the learning parts on Microsoft Learn, and I just post it online. This is what I learned. I learned about how to build an app. I learned how to accessibility in my Canvas app. I learned this, I learned that. And also then I was writing blog posts. I was writing blog posts online. Maybe I built a solution. I get to write a blog post on what I have built and the challenges I actually faced when building that particular application. So it created an opportunity for me because even before I got the job that moved me here, I I actually had a lot of people who were reaching out to me like, wow, this is amazing, this is amazing. Stuff like that. So somebody actually reached out to me and asked me, have you applied for this role? And everything became history.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, and that's a big story. Like Microsoft loves that story. They talk about it a bit, right? That if you get into Power Platform and you
Yeah.
learn it, opportunities are
Yeah.
going to show up. There are so many businesses
Yeah.
that need this new skill set that if you
Very
are willing
true.
to learn it, then you have an opportunity.
Yeah, very true. Especially when you are willing. There's one thing I've noticed so much is that there are so many, when you are actually willing to learn and you are consistent, like you don't have to know everything because nobody knows everything. You don't have to know everything, but just be consistent and be ready to learn more. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody the other day about software developers and interviewing as a software developer and all the questions they ask you. And then you're like, wait a second, though, I Google that. You're asking me something in an interview. You got to remember, I Google things, right? And I think the
Yeah.
same thing is for Power Platform. I've experimented with it, built some solutions in it. And
Yeah.
there's so much shared knowledge already online, even for a
Yeah.
platform that's so new, that
Yeah.
content like what you're putting out, content like what April Dunham puts out. There's so
Yeah.
much great content out there. We should not let it go by. We should take advantage of it.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Yeah.
So you found, I think that's fascinating that by blogging, by mentioning the education you were getting in the Power
Yeah.
Platform, that a job opportunity came up.
Yeah.
How do you know, in that scope, is that how you continue to grow your skills besides playing with it? Is using things like Microsoft Learn or other educational opportunities?
Okay. I think there's something I did that actually helped me. This is a new technology. When I started, this is actually a new technology that I have to know. I did not have an idea that it existed. I have to learn it because I have an interest. I have a passion in learning that particular tool. So when I noticed that my learning was really, really slow, I was not really catching up the way I thought I would. So what I did, I actually reached out to, in Nigeria, I had to look for the community in Nigeria. the Power Platform community in Nigeria. And I reached out to people in the community that I want to hold weekend classes every Saturday, that we have the opportunity to teach what I already know. I have the opportunity to teach what I already know on the weekend classes, that it should be of a support. And it was amazing that they actually helped me. So I had the opportunity to hold the classes on Teams call, where we had so many people, you understand, not just in Nigeria, so many people connecting on the call. So every weekend we had to do those classes, and it was amazing. It really, really helped my learning. Even from there, I got to be fully a part of the Nigerian Power Platform community, the community leaders, which has helped me because I get the opportunity to, I see a lot of questions being asked, and I'm curious, okay, what is this? I don't really know what this is, but I want to know what this can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I love stories like that about the community, because I participate in user groups here in my area where I live. We have a lot of them, and you're right. You get a chance to go and hear what others are going to teach you, and
Yeah.
then if you kind of tighten it down and get over your nervousness, you can teach what you know, and then as you teach, you learn even more about yourself.
Yeah, very true. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. Yeah.
So as you've been kind of crafting the career, because this is a very unique method of building a career, right? Traditional would be go to college, get a degree, use the degree, right? You're following in a path that I love, near and dear to me. I think it's exciting when you can self-teach, use community resources, and then leverage that into a career.
Yes.
What's something that you would change about the experience you've had? What's something you've witnessed that you thought, if we could do this just a little bit better? If they came to you, Rachel, and said, what's your idea for a change, a positive change? What might that positive change be for you?
Okay, I think towards myself, right?
Yeah, for yourself, or even for others who are trying to get started.
Okay, I think one thing to do is that you don't have to, there's so many, when imposter syndrome, you understand, imposter syndrome comes at different times. It's just going to swoop in. Once you give it the time, it's going to swoop in. So you just have to know how to handle yourself when imposter syndrome comes. You have to understand your insecurities. What are they? And there's one thing I believe in, is that you don't have to ponder too much about, okay, I have this issue, I have this issue. I'm thinking so much, okay, I'm having this issue, so I have to stop what I'm doing. I just feel that it should be like a motivation. When you see that, okay, I am learning very slow, try to understand yourself. What works for you? Because so many different things works for everybody. So you have to think, what works for me? Listening to podcasts, does it work for me? Listening to watching videos online, does it work for me? Reading books, does this work for me? Like I understand that most people, they don't have the interest to read like books on their phone. They prefer the physical books. So you just have to work around what works for you in order to understand how to work on your imposter syndrome. Because the more you are working on the insecurities, you are solving them, the more other insecurities are coming in. So you just have to know how to understand yourself, because that affected me a lot. Just have to know how to understand yourself, that okay, this is the person I am, and this is how I can solve these particular issues I have. This should be a motivation for me and not a barrier for me. Yeah.
Wow, that's very powerful. I love it.
Yeah.
So what's coming up next for you? I know you have your podcast. I know you do a lot of speaking work. What's coming up for you in the near future?
Yeah, I'm planning to be more. I'm actually a very shy person. Yeah. So I'm planning to be more involved in the community. I'm actually involved in the community, but I'm planning to be more than involved in where I am right now. I want to have the opportunity where I get to speak in a crowd of people. Because when I started, I'm speaking to you very clearly now, but when I started, I could not really speak this clearly. I would be stammering because I'm anxious. I'm thinking too much about what I'm going to say. So I want to improve myself. I want to use through the community to improve myself. I want to be able to speak in conferences, be able to attend. At least now I'm in Europe, I have more opportunities than I did when I was in Nigeria. So I want to try and make use of those opportunities to be able to go to other countries and speak about what I love, what I'm passionate about, and not be too scared about, okay, there are so many people here, they are professionals, they have been 20 years into their careers, because those they creep in most times when you are speaking on when you are doing a presentation and like, okay, I'm talking now, I'm discussing, I'm presenting. These people I'm presenting to, they already know these things. So what am I presenting? Yeah, so I'm trying to improve myself. And also, I just adopted Microsoft Dynamics. So I'm trying to improve myself to know more on how to work on the tools, also learning programming languages. Then I'm planning on creating a community here in Malta, but hopefully very soon. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So we'll be watching for that. Watch for that opportunity to see you speaking at a big Microsoft conference. We'll see your name up in lights, and I'm really excited by your energy and by what you're doing. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you.